proofs. You will have one proof on your test, and it will be 3 different questions on filling out the reasons only, and you will be given choices. But let's go over our properties and an example of a proof. So remember, our addition property says that we are adding whatever you add to one side, it would equal the same thing that you're adding to the same side. And our subtraction property, B minus C, add to one, subtract from one side, you subtract from the other. Same thing with our multiplication and our division as well. BC. Distributive. Remember, our distributive property is just what it sounds like when you multiply and you distribute. And substitution is when you plug in a number for your x. So, like if we've got, I'll use this example, 5x equals 10, and we say x equals 2, and we plug in that 2. That's substituting in for your x. Reflexive property, remember, that says that A equals A. Common sense, but that's our property. And then symmetric property says that if A equals B, then B also equals A. That we can switch sides and they'll still equal the same thing. So our statements, remember, they go on the left-hand side, and they're kind of what you do. And then our reasons go on the right-hand side, and they're why. Why you do what you do. So I have some steps down here. When you're looking at these proofs, we want to label your picture and match the reasons with the statements. My advice is, so you're going to be given this. My advice is, you've seen a triangle like this before, and you know certain things about it. And you could be given this as a question and asked, are these two congruent? And if so, how? And y'all can answer that question. So that's all we're doing here. Same thing, we're just writing it out, okay? So do that first. We know we're given that these two triangles are right triangles. The picture shows that they are right triangles. And then it also says that GH is congruent to JH. And we know if they share this side, that those two sides are congruent. So these two triangles are congruent. And what is our theorem that they're congruent by? Well, these are right triangles. That's the hypotenuse. So our hypotenuses are congruent, and one of our legs. So they're congruent by our HL. So we know that. That's the easy part, and this makes it easy as well, because all we have to do is fill in our 4 reasons, okay? Sorry for giving you a 5th line when it was not necessary. So here's our options for our reasons. You're not going to use any that aren't listed here. So triangle FGH and our right triangles. Well, that whole sentence was right here. So that's given. Given. GH is congruent to JH. Again, another given statement. FH is congruent. FH is congruent to FH. Oh. Well, that's the same line. Remember when we're talking about that, the same thing is the same thing. That is our reflexive property. And that's down here on our answer choices, so it must be true. And triangle is congruent to triangle. What do we say it was congruent by? HL. Your last reason here is never going to be given, and it's never going to be proved. It's always going to be, for this test purposes, what the congruency statement